You found it. Your home for the best content on your favorite team, the Fighting Tigers of LSU. Do us a favor. Subscribe to the channel. Leave your comments below. And be sure to smash that like button. A week ago, on Monday, I was flying to New York, and I got a text from our friend RC that he listed 4 names: Bryce Underwood, CJ Stroud, Bryce Young, and Trevor Lawrence. He said 4 best quarterbacks I've ever seen at this age. Come to find out, RC was coaching Bryce Underwood at a 7-on-7 tournament in Orlando that had a lot of LSU commits and targets on it as well. So RC's good enough to jump board with us and maybe make another Heisman prediction. RC, how are you, man?
I'd be better if I was a better coach and I didn't let Patrick Mahomes get beat by Brock Purdy in that tournament.
What happened? What happened?
Man, so I met all of those young men on Saturday, and we started playing on Saturday. So I didn't know the kids on the team other than Keelan Moses just from being here in Baton Rouge. And so we ended up playing a team. I think at the time we played them, they were 30-1. We played them in the semifinals. We already kind of beaten like the number 1 and number 2 team in the tournament. And they pencil whipped us, bro. Like they just straight up X and O'd us. And, I see everything from like a 13-year NFL veteran brain, right? Where I've done all these things so many times where if I tell you this on the sideline or if we walk through it before the game, we can make the adjustment. Man, I got out-coached so bad. It was like Bill Belichick coaching against Bobby Boucher's coach in the Waterboy.
Wait, was that before or after he got his confidence back? Because when he got his confidence back, he was really
before.
good.
This was before when they, stole his notebook or whatever it was, bro.
Well, I'm sorry it didn't work out for you, man. I'm sorry it didn't work out. But at least you got a really up-close view of some really good plays. Did you say pencil whipped? I never heard anybody say pencil whipped.
He's just drawing up stuff, bro, and I couldn't stop it. I was like, the level of frustration I had. I think we mic'd up, and I forget we're mic'd up.
Oh.
And so this kid on defense, and he's playing pretty well, but I'm looking at him and assessing him, and I'm like, well, he's really not that good, but he's talking a ton of trash, and I'm frustrated because we can't stop him. And, man, I just scream, and I forget, and Yanka ends up texting me, and she goes, Ryan, stop screaming that people's children are terrible at football. because I told my player when they were talking trash, I was like, stop talking to him. I was like, he is not good at football. He is terrible. Stop talking.
Wait, because this was on ESPN, right?
It's NFL Network.
NFL Network.
Yeah.
Because RC, I was sitting in the airport last Monday, and I'm looking. I could see that it was a 7-on-7 deal, but I didn't know what it was that I was watching. So I kind of wish I had the volume up.
Yeah.
Okay, so what was so impressive about Bryce Underwood?
Oh, he's an adult. He's an adult grown man. And I'm not talking, he can make every single throw. There are, if you go to the OT overtime 7 or OT 7, Twitters and 7-on-7s, there's 17 million posts just dedicated to what he did Sunday morning because it was that unbelievable. There's a drive. And so in these tournaments, you can get a money ball. So think about the money ball in 3-point competition where scores are worth more. So we're down to one of the best teams in the tournament. It's the last drive, and I say go with the money ball. But we're going with the money ball, and there's 14 seconds left. Coach draws up a play. Kid's wide open. This kid's phenomenal. It's Julius Jones. He used to play for the Cowboys. It's his son. He's a freshman at St. Thomas Aquinas, plays receiver. He's phenomenal. He's killing all day. So he drops the ball, wide open, drops the ball, who would have scored. So it's the next play. It's 10 seconds left. We run another play. There's 2 guys on this same kid. Bryce has to throw the ball in between these 2 guys, in between the sideline. Perfect pass. He gets out of bounds. The next play, we get a deep crosser across the middle. I'm telling you, man, he throws it into a team meeting. It's 6 people in there, bro. It's a team meeting. 6 seconds left in the game, and he throws it, and somehow it finds our guy. And he knew it. He threw it with so much confidence. But I think, to me, what impressed me the most, he was the best player out there, and it wasn't even close. But he was so mature, such a good leader, And like, you know what these tournaments are about, right? They're going to use the best players and the most prominent players to promote what they're doing. And so in between games, when we're trying, because remember, we just met these kids Saturday, when we're trying to teach offense, teach defense. He's having to do photo shoots. He's having to do videos. And he was so gracious. He's signing autographs. And, like, you can just tell, like, there's some kids who are just really talented and they aren't ready to be what they have the possibility to become. It almost feels like he was born to do it. And, man, it was just, like I said, man, like, I coached Justin Fields in the opening 7-on-7. The weekend, he went from being the number 2 player in the country to tied or to 1-1A with Trevor Lawrence. If he threw 100 passes that weekend, Matt, maybe like one of them was off target. It was just phenomenal. And we played Trevor that weekend, and Trevor was great. You know, I actually did well defensively that day. Bryce Underwood he's better than them at this age.
Wow.
He's better.
Can you give me some context, RC? Like, I don't look. I obviously never played at a high level, and I never did 7-on-7 or anything like that.
Yeah.
But how can we tell, or how can you tell if it's? So you say he's the best you've seen at this age, which is such a mouthful, considering the names you just mentioned, who are all top 5 picks.
Right.
But, like, can you give me some context on what that means as we try to project what Bryce Underwood is like at LSU?
Truth? Like harsh truth?
Yeah.
We should hope that Nussmeier plays himself into being a first-round pick and leaves. One, that means we're really good.
Yeah.
Right? And I believe he has that level of arm talent as well. But you don't want to sit this kid because he's only going to be here 3 years.
How do you feel about playing freshmen at that position?
So what I think is all of the really good ones for the most part play. I think it's okay to let him sit a year though, right? When you look at Bryce, he sat behind Mac. CJ sat behind Justin. Right. But I want you to think about this. Bryce sat behind the runner-up to the Heisman and the 15th overall pick. CJ sat behind a Heisman finalist and the 11th overall pick. Those guys, or those sorts of guys, only sit behind the type of players I just mentioned.
Right.
Think about Trevor Lawrence. Trevor Lawrence goes into Clemson, and he's backing up Kelly Bryant. They're alternating a little bit. He's backing up Kelly Bryant. Remember, Kelly Bryant was like 11-2 the year before.
Yeah.
And eventually, Dabo Swinney makes the decision, hey, we're going to start Trevor because he's that good. Bryce is that sort of good. Like that, he's that sort of different from everybody else in his class. You know, and I got to see the rest of the quarterbacks. Kid is going to Ohio State, too, really good as well. I got to see the rest of the quarterbacks at the opening at the Super Bowl, made the Pro Bowl this year, you know. And so, you know, there are all these things that go into it. But for me, it's imagine this, Matt. Imagine you're a quarterback. There's 5 players you have an opportunity to throw the ball to. And the first time you're seeing the play that you're going to run, like this is like you stepping up and you're going to do an entire show. And the first time they tell you what the rundown is when they say show started. Right? So he gets to play. And now you don't know what defense the guys are running. So in your head, you have to compute this play that they just showed you on the sheet. They tell you who your first read is, or they tell you how to read it out. And you're going, okay, number 1's not open. On the sheet that I just saw for the first time in my life, number 2 or my second route is here, and my third route is here, or this is the guy I'm going to. So it's not like he had an opportunity to practice this, and this kid is going from 1 to 2 to 3. And even on the first day, because he came with some kids on his team who aren't as highly ranked players as some of the players we already had or we put together. And he comes to me that day, and he goes, Coach, like, I came with two of my guys. Like, I'm comfortable with them. I know them. I immediately go to the offensive coach. I said, I don't care what you got to do. Those two have to play. I was like, I don't care if we don't think they're as good as the other people. I'm like, he's comfortable with them. But he came to me and said that because he knew what it would mean. And he was better the next day. And he was great throwing the ball to them two because he knew them and he understands them. But he also had the confidence and the understanding and awareness to know if I get those two, no matter what my coaches think or the people that put this team together think, if I get those two, I'm better. And I'm also confident enough as a 17, 18-year-old man to go tell this 13-year NFL veteran, NFL analyst of 10 years, Super Bowl champion, that that's what makes me better.
Yeah.
You know, and so I think that level of understanding, a kid from Detroit that understand what coming to LSU and having the Malik Neighbors and the Jamar Chases and the Brandon Thomas types, Brian Thomas types on your team, what that will allow him to be. I just think he's so far ahead of the game mentally, and then obviously the talent is off the charts.
Hey, RC, before you run, man, I appreciate the time so much. You had other guys on the team. Harlem Barry was there. We've had Keelan Moses in the studio, who's so impressive.
Harlem Barry is the second best player in the class. Okay. Oh, gosh.
Okay.
Matt, I be honest, I don't know what he's going to play.
He's not going to be running back?
I don't know. He's 185 pounds, maybe. Like, he's not big. And so if he plays running back, you got to use him the right way. Right? Like, this guy should be your starting punt returner. I want you to think, here you go, you're an LSU guy.
Okay.
I want you to think if you took Skylar Green, college Skylar Green, now who Skylar Green was in the pros, right?
Okay.
College Skylar Green, and you made him more skilled and a step faster.
Ooh.
That's who he is.
I like that.
He catches everything, because remember, we can't run the football at 7-on-7.
Mm-hmm.
He catches everything, and in the open field, people can't two-hand touch him. And listen, I'm not, you know me, bro. Like, I wouldn't come build these kids up because I would hate for them to enter with some expectation based on somebody unbelievably believing my words, and then there's a pressure. But I actually have no fear that they're this good. Like, something's going to have to happen that Bryce Underwood isn't the number 1 overall pick in 3 years. Or 4 years once he comes. Something got to happen. Like, if Harlem Barry doesn't become one of the most dynamic football players in college football. Now, with Harlem, though, it could be he only gets 12 touches a game, though. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, he's not going to be Leonard. You know, it's going to be 12 offensive touches and returns. But in those 18 touches, like, this is a dude that could be 160 all-purpose, 200 all-purpose yards a game for LSU. And I just think, man, you got to be excited about that. He is like baby football. Super touching.
I'm so glad we got that on tape. Because I have a feeling, RC, in about 3 years, you're going to be like hitting me on Twitter when somebody gets up in your mentions and is like, you didn't predict. You're like, Sconey, pull up the tape. I'm like, I got it.
Scotty, I've been pretty good about the LSU guys on here, man. I've been pretty spot on.
You were the first before 2019. You did call the Joe Burrow emergence when that wasn't we went through it. He was preseason. His Heisman odds are plus 10,000. So you were early on the Burrow, and then you definitely did say Jaden, could win a Heisman before he left LSU. So pretty good, especially when it comes to quarterbacks, RC. So I've been beaten up by enough of the good ones. You know what I'm saying? You get beat by enough of the good ones, bro. You pencil whip. I got pencil whipped by Coach Joe from Hawaii. That's so good. All right, he is Ryan Clark. Always appreciate we get a couple of minutes. Thanks, RC. Appreciate you.
Man, have a great day.
Hey, thanks so much for watching. Please leave your comments. I love to interact, and be sure to hit the red subscribe button below.